Hello everybody, Happy New Year. It's the start of 2025 and that means that this car behind me is 20 years old, would you believe? We're talking about the 996 Turbo S. I've seen it pop up on the Nine Marketplace. It's with the guys here at Philip Raby. The reason I wanted to come along and drive this car is because for me, if you look at around that like £50,000 price bracket, particularly like £50,000 to £75,000, there's so much choice right now out there on the marketplace, and you can pivot in many different ways. You know, that sort of price or that sort of money can get you in a Carrera, a turbo of a certain vintage, even a GT3 of a certain vintage. That sort of price bracket also kind of lends itself to cars that are collectible in some instances, like the 996 Anniversary, for example, but also there are some Porsches in there that are like daily driven. So with that in mind, and with a focus on that today, I thought, well, look, if there is one car that is tasked with performing in lots of different areas, possibly even daily driving, right now the de facto choice in that sort of, say, 50 to 75k bracket is a 991 generation like Carrera, Carrera S, Carrera 4S. In today's video, I want to explore the merits of why perhaps you should not go with a de facto choice and look at something like this for Porsche 911 owners that wish to drive their cars near daily. Particularly when that car is also capable of a near 200 mile an hour top speed and a 0 to 62 time of just over 4 seconds, should you fancy an autobahn blast or a dash from the lights. And the car will do all this in all seasons thanks to all-wheel drive with the roof down. This lovely 996 Turbo S has all of this in its arsenal and falls at the bottom of that aforementioned price bracket. It's freezing here and a cold January down the south coast. Let's jump in the car, take it for a drive and get to know the Turbo S in a little bit more detail. As we all know, I just really like a 996 of any description. I just think they're cracking cars, and just, as I've said before, it's just like the gateway into legendary 911 ownership that doesn't necessarily cost the earth. They are all, of course, 911 money to run, but find a good one and the experience should be no more painful than any other generation of 911, and that is a fact. 996 Turbo S was released really as a run-out special at the end of 996 Turbo production. It was actually released in August of 2004 for one model year only, and that was the 2005 model year. So, you know, I want to make that clear from the off. It's not like today where a Turbo S is, where it's just an upgrade from a turbo. And the reason I like it is, well, it's a fantastic platform anyway. The Turbo S takes the turbo and ups the ante in terms of power, in terms of torque, but also in spec as well, which we'll come on to. We'll discuss power as we've just put our foot down there. So the 996 Turbos, we'll compare it to that for now. 996 Turbo out of the box, 420 horsepower. There was an optional power kit, the X50 power kit. Gave you larger turbos, a reworked twin intercooler, and a remap of the ECU, boosting power by 30 horsepower to 450 horsepower. The Turbo S got that as standard. Matched to that is an increase in torque. We're rocking 620 newton meters of torque now, available between 3.5 and 4.5k. That is on a sports car that, as I've said, is 20 years old, and those numbers are not shy. And it means, as we put the foot down, if not blisteringly quick in the way, say, a 991 or 2 turbo is, it's still quick enough to raise a smile on your face and for it to be an event. So that's power. In terms of spec, ceramics, Porsche composite ceramic brakes as standard on the Turbo S. The discs themselves were bigger than the turbo, up from 330 all round to 350 all round. The calipers on the front axle are 6 piston rather than 4 on the standard turbo. So to go with that extra power, we've got much beefier brakes to curtail velocity when called upon. Oh, I really like this road, you know. Let's just give it a little tickle. Honestly, the way it goes down the road so nicely, particularly in manual mode and the Tiptronic gearboxes I've got now, feels really nice, really controllable. and the power is there. Oh, it's wicked. Power on the Turbo S, like the Turbo, is fed to all four wheels. It was variable with a viscous coupling. The Turbo S available with manual or Tiptronic transmission, as here, and body styles was coupe or cabriolet. Enjoying it in manual, but let's pop it into auto. Turn that down a bit. Yeah, so there are other cars that are more dynamic for sure, but as a all-rounder, one car that does everything, like honestly, the 996 Turbo S is super compelling, and probably in this price bracket, this is just under 50k now, it'd probably be my choice. I think it's a bit of a connoisseur's choice. It wouldn't be everybody's go-to, but like, yeah, I'm here to do some fluffing in favour of the Turbo S because it is a cool car, and I need to get my boot down out of that junction. No problem. See you later, pal. So, you know, a 991, you would argue, for a similar price as C4S, say, because it's all-wheel drive as well, could offer you more modernity, more comfort. Well, I'm not so sure about comfort. It's on bigger wheels, skinnier, smaller profile tyres. So not sure about comfort. This certainly rides really well. There's definitely more of a duality to a 991. It's, you know, sport button, PASM. The Turbo S is still so practical enough and gives you, I mean, look at that for a whack of power. It's certainly not slow. But again, it's not too fast that you can't enjoy all of it on the public road. Its size, and being from the 996 generation, means it's not too big for the road, while still having a really nice commanding presence with that wide body. It will still zip down a UK road, no problem at all. But also there's the turbo factor, right? And that's something that like a 991 C4S, as good as it is, and really is fantastic 911, you know, just can't match the might of a turbo badge, and particularly a Turbo S. So that's why I'm saying it's that connoisseur's choice. You could argue inside is dated, yes, I guess it is, and it lacks the infotainment and connectivity of a 991 generation. But to be honest with you, you're a PCCM instalment away from fixing that problem and it no longer being an issue. So as a car that you can take your business calls, you can listen to great podcasts like Nine Radio, you can listen to your favourite music on Spotify, like, all of that is completely doable in the 996 Turbo S. And it is a rare car, but not so rare that you can't use the thing. And that's why this thing for me is just king of the hill. I mean, like, this is an incredible daily. In terms of its engine, as many of you will know, it's a Metzger engine here, iconic Metzger engine, dry sumped, Le Mans pedigree, Le Mans winning pedigree, as I often bang on about with the car. But crucially, reputationally, they are bulletproof. I don't like to use the word bulletproof often. I'm happy to do it for the Metzger engine. It is a pretty bulletproof engine, and also there's just less generally on this car to go wrong in comparison to a modern equivalent. The only drawback really with the Turbo S is kind of the same as the Turbo on which it's based on, just quite quiet. I'd really like to stick an aftermarket exhaust on, maybe switchable, just to unlock a little bit more noise when I'm after it. The only other car I would actually consider over a 996 Turbo S would be its successor in the 997 Gen 1 Turbo, because again, dynamically it's just a step on, it's a better front axle, steering is slightly more feelsome, it's improved in that way in terms of weightiness, and it's a bit more feelsome. But to be honest, you are well into the 50s for a good example of that, and whereas you can have a 996 Turbo S for a five or under £50,000 as we chat now. This particular car, and it's for sale at Philip Raby, is Tiptronic. I'd say Tiptronic suits a turbo 996 more than it does a Carrera. It's actually a really nice, quite harmonious pairing, which again points to the fact that you shouldn't readily dismiss Tiptronic, particularly if you're looking at a turbo. Honestly, try it, see what you think. Oh, I think I'm lost again. Pretty sure there was a turning back there I should have gone for. So, as hopefully you've seen, Turbo S, great package, great all-round package, exacerbated by this roof, because as with any sports car, in my opinion anyway, soft top really does give an extra dimension to the sports car experience, although I appreciate it's not to everybody's taste. I personally really like it. So we're going to put the roof down. With the 996 you can do so while driving at speeds of up to 30 mile an hour. It is 2 degrees outside, so we'll see how long the roof is down for. Let's just pop this up so at least you can hear me, just on the off chance there's anything I say of value. It's fresh air motoring and it is fresh, it is fresh. But yeah, come summer, brilliant, really nice way to enjoy the 996 Turbo S sports car experience. I've done 43 miles in this car. I wish I could do so much more. I honestly really like it. It's so compelling. Again, as a 1911 to do everything, I think it just shows how like the pairing of the spec works. I wouldn't ordinarily go for a Tiptronic. I would want the engagement of a manual, but twinned with like the turbo package and the cabriolet body style, it's actually really well judged, really well judged. Again, it just highlights the fact that Porsche, you know, they don't build bad cars. We as consumers just make bad decisions and pick the wrong car for us or our lifestyle. This is something that works. So if you go down the pub and tell your Porsche friends that you've got, well, you wouldn't say Porsche in a pub, would you? You say Porsche. And but yeah, you know, I've got a Tiptronic all-wheel drive cabriolet 911. You probably wouldn't be the envy of every Porsche person in the car park. But you know, again, with this setup and this package, I just think it's perfect, absolutely perfect. I'd be very happy jumping in this car every day. It would feel special to me. I'd be really happy then jumping in it and driving around Europe. I think it will do everything I want to, and some actually. Yeah, we mentioned that 991 Carrera 4S. It's quicker and it's faster than that. It's also rarer as well. I am going to put that roof up though. It is a little chilly. Brass monkeys, as the saying goes. Yeah, definitely need to put the roof up. I'm just in a polar bear shivering at the side of the road, so feel you, buddy, feel ya. Oh my God, that's so good. Right, so look, that is it then. There is the Turbo S in all its glory. What have we learned today? Well, look, fantastic spec, great performance, super comfortable, ticks so many options, doesn't it, really? And I think shows that if you want a car that is going to do a lot of things, or maybe even you would drive daily, you don't just have to kind of opt for like what is seen as like the de facto 991. There's a lot of choice out there, particularly in that like 50k price range, really, and possibly more choice than you would realise. The other thing is as well is like, don't dismiss like Tiptronic gearbox. I think it's a really nice ally to the turbo experience and the turbo package. I mean, look, that to me, it's just, I love it. I'd love to have like, say, Little Irish as like the fun weekender and that as the daily. I really would. Like this does so much for me. I really enjoyed it. So thank you for watching. I hope it's opened your eyes and shown you that even if not this car, there are many options out there. Go and take a look and don't readily dismiss things like Tiptronic and everything else. Yeah, so take a look at this car and many others on the Nineworks marketplace, all backed by comprehensive warranties, sold by reputable dealers. You can see that at nineworks.co.uk in the link below. Thanks to the guys here at Philip Raby for letting me drive this beauty. Thanks to you for watching and all of your support as always, and we'll see you soon.